Listen, y'all can say whatever y'all want about Erika Kirk and that hug with JD Vance, but I just know that if my Puerto Rican wife saw a woman do that to me, you all would have a fresh episode of Dateline. So you're welcome.
Or at least a wives with knives. Maybe a southern fried homicide. At minimum, it would be a snapped. I can tell you that right now. It would definitely be a snapped. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
Look, I love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Now, this is called Who Raised Y'all, but it should be called Who Married Y'all, because some of y'all ain't been taking y'all vows seriously. Brother JD Vance, what is this? No, I don't want to hear nothing about no listening devices. You was in public. What you mean you lost control of your body? Erika Kirk wore those pants on purpose to remind JD Vance of his favorite leather couch. I know you've been posting from your burner account. I know, we all know your burner account. You ain't slick. That's the worst excuse I heard since she came in to use the restroom.
Oh my God.
This woman came in and said she needed to use the restroom.
Well, what the hell is she doing naked?
And the reality is, Horace at least thought he was in private. You don't have no excuse.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Excuse me, I have a question. Well, really, you can't tell people how to grieve. Everybody's grieving process is different. And some people grieve in leather. I mean, I've seen it before. That's right. And other people grieve in gray sweatpants at the strip club after collecting life insurance. Why the hell did JD Vance and Erika Kirk hug like that? The vice president had an uncomfortably close embrace with Charlie Kirk's widow for everyone to witness. Vice President JD Vance has some explaining to do over a hug that was a little too close with Erika Kirk. The two were at the University of Mississippi Wednesday night for Turning Point USA's This Is the Turning Point tour. Very creative. The organization co-founded by Charlie that Erika took over after his death. Vance not only was a headlining guest, but also filled Charlie's old role of debating college students from stage. But the internet isn't as concerned with the tour itself or the fact that Vance has the time to play conservative influencer while serving as vice president. Instead, they're talking about the embrace between him and Kirk's widow, with Vance's hands on her waist and her face appearing to betray some emotion at the same time. Several commenters seem to suggest that this doesn't bode well for Vance's wife, Usha. You lost control of your body, huh?
We got a thing going on.
She tempted you? All right. Tell me what she said.
I am so grateful and so blessed to be with you here today at Ole Miss, where I get to introduce you to one of the most amazing men. Amazing men. Just amazing. And his wife. Now, no one can replace my husband. No one can replace my husband. But JD Vance comes close. He is such an amazing speaker that his message transcends demographics. Yeah, I'm so grateful for his close friendship in light of the assassination of my husband just a month and a half ago. And I am so grateful that I have been able to continue on with a smile on my face in the shadow of my husband's assassination, all through the love of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but also through your generous donations to Turning Point USA. Please listen to our amazing Vice President as he speaks the words of what would have been the words of my late husband. God bless America.
Wait a minute, that ain't, oh, that was a whole nother Miss Arizona? That's what I thought, yeah. That program been down for a while. That's an easy mix-up.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible.
What's with all the random pausing? It's like she's reliving the moment. I've seen that before. I mean, mine was tinged with disgust and regret, but I know the pauses.
And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do.
I see similarities in JD. Let me translate that for you. It's so plain to see the boy is mine.
And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
Now let's take a quick poll. How many of you guys think that she intentionally omitted Usha Vance's name, or she legitimately has no idea what it is? Huh? What about 50-50? And Usha consoled and comforted this woman during her husband's funeral, and she doesn't remember her name. I'm sure if Vance doesn't become president, she won't remember his name either. Now that is a good point on both accounts. This is why I say how pick me always ends. This is how pick me always ends. How you get them is how you lose them. So keep that in mind, brother JD Vance. You don't take over in 2028. It's gonna go exactly like that. As far as Erika is concerned, well, if your interest was to alleviate any suspicion and concerns, then you would probably, want to button that up a little bit. And what's this about nobody replacing your husband?
I just want to let you know, nobody was really thinking you were trying to replace your husband until you prefaced something with, nobody will ever replace my husband. And all that. Because it really wouldn't have been weird if you said, I see a lot of similarities between the two of them. Because, we also see those similarities. They're not great ones, but we see them too. It's probably more of the part where you felt like you needed to, let us know ahead of time. If anything looks a little weird, I'm not trying to replace my husband. Nobody was thinking that, but now we kind of are saying the quiet part out loud. There's a lesson in there somewhere.
I've done that before, where you accidentally tell on yourself, yeah, we've all been there. You come home and she's like, what is it with all these bills that ain't been paid? I thought I gave you the money to pay the bills. And I'm like, I didn't blow it on my parlay. My parlay didn't have nothing to do with these bills on the table. Sometimes you do lose control of your body. JD had a point. Sometimes you do lose control of your body. You got to go ahead and fix that. You might have to do to James Harden and just give her a bag of money. Whatever it takes. You just do what you got to do. Yeah, it works. Do it because it's James Harden and it's Arizona. So, I'll be on top of it. Now, where are all my married men at? All my married men and all my men in relationships. We need to take a quick stock of the state of the city boys at this point in time.
City boy! Snatched. That's the only word I can think of right now. And no, I'm not talking about going to the gym and, I'm going to go get my fitness on and get slim thick, get myself snatched. No, I'm saying that I feel like every fella, their whole lives, their lives will be snatched out of their body if they were married and did something like this. I'm telling you right now, Erika Kirk and the hug with JD Vance that everybody's talking about right now, I'm going to be real. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it happened. But a lot of people are thinking that something weird is going on here. And I'm going to tell you this. It could be like a Christian hug.
Yeah, that's that Christian hug that David gave Bathsheba. That's what that is. Yeah, that is that Christian hug that Ahab gave Jezebel. I can tell you this. You better hope it's not that Christian hug that Lot gave his wife, because that ended poorly. Yeah. Make sure you get yourself checked out.
But even though the hug doesn't look like so much of a Christian hug, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, married men, to my married men out there, and taken men as well, okay? Spoken for men, all right? When you hug another woman that is not your partner, are you doing full body hug? And then the hand on the waist? Bruh, the hand on the waist. The hand on the waist. Are you doing that? And are you able to walk back to your partner, to your boo thing, without having your head completely removed from your body?
It depends what you mean by walk. If that means to travel even with assistance, then maybe I might be able to do that. There might be some crutches involved. So, what I mean? Would crawling be considered walking? You gotta open your mind to what is considered a crab walk, something like that. I might be able to do.
I'm asking for a friend because I'm gonna be real. Those photos and that moment was weird. And again, aren't you like hugging them like this? You know what I mean? Like butt out like this. Like, yeah, I love you too. Butt out like this. You're not doing the whole pelvis to pelvis, holding the waist, her hand in the back of your head. I'm telling you right now, you are not going to be alive the next morning. Am I wrong or am I wrong? I'm just saying. Fellas, the ones that are taking, and ladies, you were hugging a man like this? You mean to tell me that this would be okay? Your man wouldn't be like, baby, what's up with that? What's up with that, girl? You tell me he'd be fine with that? They were so close that they could have made a baby together. You feel me? It's weird. It's weird.
Listen, y'all can say whatever y'all want about Erika Kirk and that hug with JD Vance, but I just know that if my Puerto Rican wife saw a woman do that to me, you all would have a fresh episode of Dateline. So you're welcome.
Or at least a wives with knives. Maybe a southern fried homicide. At minimum, it would be a snapped. I can tell you that right now. It would definitely be a snapped.
JD, what are your hands doing here, bro? What are you doing? Why are they on her hips like that? You're a married man, and you're grabbing a widow like that? Oh, but wait, it gets even worse. What is this? She's caressing his head, like as if this is her husband. If you saw that picture, you would think they are married. Well, the fact is, they are married to other people. This isn't okay. This isn't what marriage is supposed to look like. And what this is, they're setting us up for a JD Vance and Erika Kirk marriage. It's going to be coming. If I was Usha, I don't really like Usha that much, or however you say her name, I'd be pissed. My wife would be pissed if I hugged a woman like this and she ran her fingers through my hair. This is ridiculous. And all of this is like a soft launch. This is like, let's see how well this plays over. Because JD's playing the PR campaign. We saw him go to Israel. He went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. He's trying to play his PR campaign as if he is not pro-Israel. As if he's some special Christian guy. Now he's going to go get him a Christian wife, a new one. And his wife's Hindu, so he's kicking her to the curb because it doesn't serve his purpose anymore. And this is what we get. He's acting on this fresh widow, and she's all for it. And the whole thing is disgusting. What does this say about the man that just died a month ago? What does this say about the relationship he had with his wife? How did she really feel? This is ridiculous, and it's nasty.
Let me find out they soft launching the relationship at the funeral. And here I am. I thought you had a 90-day waiting period. You know what I mean? I thought you had a 90-day waiting period before you could, they not doing that no more? The rules done changed, man. I tell you, these new kids are crazy. All right, well, this is where we're at. I would love to hear where the ladies are at on this.
In this video is JD Vance and Charlie Kirk's wife. Yeah, Miss Turning Point. I had a few questions for the married folk. Which one of you in here are okay with the way this widow is hugging on Usha's husband, the Vice President JD Vance? Which one of you thinks it's appropriate? Which one of you think that they are positioning them to run for president and vice president of the United States? Which one of you think it's something more sinister than that? And that hug and that grab around the hip and placing your hand in his head. Listen, I understand all the power moves with a man. And for people that I'm not involved with, not interested in, I never hug chest to chest. Never. And absolutely not with someone else's husband. What do you think? Miss Vance, get you an attorney, stack your money and prepare, because you are being moved out of the way if you weren't already moved.
It's looking bad, JD. It's looking bad. It's looking bad. What'd you say? It's only two genders? It's only two genders, and both of them are rejecting the excuses coming out of your mouth right now. And they ain't even address the full evidence. It get worse for you, man. You telegraphed this entire thing. The pictures from Mississippi aren't helped by Vance's remarks about his wife at the event, where he said he hopes Usha will leave her Hindu faith and convert to Christianity. All three of their children are being raised as Christians, with the two older ones attending a Christian school.
Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
JD Vance knew Usha wasn't a Christian when they dated. He knew she wasn't a Christian when he married her. He also knew she wasn't a Christian when they had 3 children together. But it's a concern now. You saw what happened to Kash Patel, didn't you? Yeah, you saw what happened to Kash Patel. And you saw what happened to Vivek Ramaswamy. And he said, we got some loose ends to tie up. Y'all ain't slick. Y'all ain't slick. MAGA is nothing if not consistent in their bigotry. Here we get Joel Webbon himself, a spiritual home of the most hateful amongst the right wing, saying, go back home and worship your sand demons. Get out of my country. You had to specify they were sand demons. Like you couldn't just go with demons. They had to be sand demons.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
JD Vance, I'm raising my kids as Christians. I asked my wife to convert to Christianity and leave the Hindu religion. I want her to become a Christian too. Soon he will say I asked my wife to paint her face with white color. I mean, you probably already have that in your closet, if we're being honest. Like, you ain't even got to go out and get no new product for that. So, you know what I mean? Just share and share alike. That's all. Y'all can grow closer together as a unit.
Right now, everybody's talking about how JD Vance and Erika Kirk are getting a little too comfortable and that Usha's relationship might be in danger. But I'm mostly seeing people like, oh, Usha, leave your man, like that sort of stuff. I'm worried. And listen, I know she's not a good person. I obviously know that. But I'm worried, like woman to woman, that they're going to try to pull a fucking Princess Diana on her. Like she's going to like die this tragic, mysterious death. But we're all going to know. We're all going to know that it was just for him to get to Erika. Like, JD Vance has already said that Usha doesn't have the same, like, religious ideals as he does, and that man's a Christian nationalist. You know who else is a Christian nationalist? Erika Kirk. And what racist America really wants to see right now is 2 people of full Aryan blood together. They need their white prince and princess to come together and rule the kingdom as one. Because once Trump is gone, because we know he doesn't have much time left, once Trump is gone and JD Vance is going to be the one to be in power, you really think they want eyeliner guy who's been memed the fuck out, who fucks couches, who has an Indian wife? You think they're going to want that? No, they're not going to allow that. They're not going to want that because we're talking about white supremacy here. Him being with Erika would save his image because she is like the princess right now. They are going to want 2 Christian nationalists. So Usha babe, you might need to run. You might need to flee the country. And I know that I sound like a conspiracy theorist, and I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist, but if I'm fucking right about this, one person at least owes me $5.
Now, there's a couple of ways that you can look at this. One is in defense of Usha Vance. And one thing that must be communicated is that Usha Vance is about that MAGA life, okay? She is about that conservative life. At no point this year have I heard her object to the moves of this administration. Let's make that clear. Also, there's the fact that she saw this and decided to give up her player card. That's right. She saw all of this and decided that was it for her. She wanted her sons in the reflection of all of this. So, you know, that's on the one hand. On the other hand, you have the nasty hypocrisy of the MAGAs and the Christian conservative right. You know, the people always poking their noses in how other people decide to live and choose to live out of judgment. Those people, you know, the family values Republicans that think we don't see Trump. You can't miss him. He get bigger every year.
Holy shit, they are trying to replace Usha Vance with Erika Kirk. Because Erika Kirk and JD Vance is their Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. Because what is this?
Now, she said Christian nationalist wet dream. Let's see. They are both white. They are both wealthy. We know that they worship wealth. They love to pass judgment on others and are willing to bend and mold their beliefs in service of attaining or protecting power. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah. I think it. Oh boy, here comes MAGA.
What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no. You don't. This is weird. Oh, and then there's this one. JD, why are your hands so low? There's no reason for them to be on her hips, but there they are.
Oh, look, a white liberal woman looking for a problem where there is none. Finding absolute joy at just the thought of somebody's life falling apart. That's new. But I hate to burst your bubble, guys. There's nothing going on here. If you actually play the clip, you can see that it was just a brief hug. Nobody paused. He didn't rest his hands on her hips. There was nothing there. It's wild that the people that claim to be the experts on compassion and empathy, humanity, and feelings don't actually recognize those things when they happen right in front of their faces. See, Erika is actually a loving human being, and despite the pain that she is feeling, she actually seems to be more concerned with comforting everybody else. This was Erika hugging Eileen Marks just a couple of days after Erika lost Charlie. This was her when she was talking to Jesse Waters about Charlie. This just seems to be how Erika connects with other people, and I think in particular, how she's comforting others. I was far more concerned about the president that we had in the office for 4 years who couldn't keep his nose out of women and children's hair. But again, as much as I know that you guys would love for this to be a problem, it's just not.
Okay, let's first address the fact that most of these calls, if not all of these calls, have come from inside the house. You ain't gotta go far to look for people appalled and disgusted at the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death. That's y'all.
She is fake. She is so fake. There is no way 2 weeks. I mean, y'all were already doing too much, but like 2 weeks after your man is assassinated and you just chilling on a podcast. And people are like, oh, she's so strong. She has Jesus. Like, stop it right now. When you genuinely love your husband, and even all the comments, people are like, my husband this, and like, I couldn't function for a month. Like, she's taken over a company. She's doing podcasts. She's running RNCs. I mean, memorials. Y'all, wake up. Wake up. It is fake. She is so fake. In the words of Candace Owens, it's fake and gay. Also, when are y'all going to say she was right? When are you going to say Candace Owens was right about stuff? Okay. Yeah. Faking. It's all fake and gay.
Breaking. Candace Owens calls out TPUSA. Why is she fighting harder for the truth than Erika Kirk? I regret to inform you that thanks to Candace Owens, her fans are already bashing Erika Kirk as doing less for Charlie than Candace has done. In addition, they're saying that Erika is compromised. I am repulsed by this behavior. Absolutely sickening. Let's see. She's doing more than the wife. The wife is compromised. She has to keep her mouth shut. She has kids and she wants to be alive for them. Until Erika says Candace is lying, I'm believing Candace. There is no way that Erika will let anyone lie about Charlie, especially someone that was that close to him. If she wanted Candace to stop, she would.
It's like, lady, didn't your husband just get his face blown off like 2 seconds ago? And not to be insensitive about it, but everyone's thinking it. No one wants to be the asshole. No one wants to say it. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone was thinking it when she gave the first speech. Everyone was definitely thinking it at the memorial. Nobody wants to say it because it's inappropriate. It's insensitive. I am the troll, right? So I'll be the one to say it. I think it's super inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's weird. It's bizarre. Something is off there, and I don't like it. But they're doing the Super Bowl commentators with the headsets on, doing a media table. They're selling merch, registering voters. They got pyrotechnics. Is this WrestleMania or is this a funeral? Like, what are we doing here? And then, the day after the funeral, I'm getting 500 texts and emails. Erika Kirk here. I miss him. Every time I blink, every beat of my heart. Make sure to donate $5, $15, $25. It's like, okay. Then they're doing a show. Did you see the show today? And so prescient. I said it last night. I said, I'm getting like a fake vibe. I'm not, something's off there. And people say, well, everybody grieves differently. Yeah, I don't know how much mileage we can get out of that one anymore. Something's not right there. Very bizarre, weird vibe there. And did you see the show? Erika hosted the Charlie Kirk show this afternoon, and she's like, she looks like she's over the moon. She's happy as a clam.
So let's address the fact that not only were people already suspicious of her and already suspicious of the administration, and then you give us this.
It is truly an honor to introduce Vice President JD Vance. And
now let's add to the suspicion that something is afoot the fact that JD Vance is the same guy that defended the racism in the Young Republicans chat when even the right-wingers and most of the MAGAs called for their removal. JD Vance stood firm in support of white supremacy. The same thing that he did earlier this year when it came to the guy in Doge who was talking about Indian hate. That's right, the guy with the Indian wife and the Indian American kids was defending somebody pushing for Indian hate being in the administration. Yes, that is a thing that happened. And if you think that JD Vance is the kind of person who would never betray his vows. He's a guy who he is so steady and steadfast. You're talking about the same guy that called Trump Adolf? The same guy who called Trump Adolf and switched up to become his vice president and excuse the nastiest of impulses from MAGA, even when they're specific to Indian people? You think that guy is too principled and virtuous?
JD Vance is not the actual vice presidential nominee. It's Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a tech billionaire. He used to be JD Vance's boss. In 2022, he gave the most amount of money that any single person has ever given to a U.S. Senate campaign to JD Vance. It was $15 million. Thiel has clout because he's one of the biggest venture capitalists in the United States. He founded PayPal. He was an angel investor early on with Facebook. He runs Palantir, which is one of the biggest defense contractors. Pundits have been saying stuff like JD Vance is a non-strategic pick because Ohio is a safe red state, because JD Vance doesn't, appeal to any existing demographic in the party. But they're not reading the room because JD Vance is the tech crypto bro VC type candidate. And those are the people that the Republicans and Trump are trying to make overtures to.
Yes, I forgot one other switch up. How about the fact that the guy who was backed by Silicon Valley tried to push that on to Kamala Harris? He really rode that hillbilly elegy despite the fact that Peter Thiel's hand was in his back and remains so, pushing forward into 2028. And if you think Peter Thiel is going to put his money on a horse that has already taken some L's with Kash Patel and Vivek Ramaswamy,
because this video and this video are definitely the same energy.
I'm just saying.
On top of that, he made a public declaration that he wanted his wife to convert to Christianity, which seems like a buildup for him to maybe divorce his wife very soon and marry Erika Kirk for a bid for president.
My wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family. Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Wow. The pressure is getting worse.
Because why is she, a widower whose husband was violently murdered, saying that no one reminds her of her husband but JD Vance, and then JD Vance is hugging her in the same week that he's hoping that his wife converts to Christianity, in the same week that he's saying no one wants to live next to people who don't speak English, and his wife's family doesn't speak English in America. America is one big telenovela.
I have a question. I just don't know if the Christian conservatives have the capacity to accept a whole second wife situation. Like, I don't know if they can ride with that. Yeah, they need 3 at least.
Usha, girly, your days as second lady may be numbered. And no, I'm not one of the people out here saying, oh, they fucking, look at them spark. I don't think they're having an affair. I don't think just because she was gripping the back of his neck that JD Vance is looking at her like she's a sectional. No. But these are two people really wanting power. They want power at all costs. They want to grow their power. Specifically when it comes to JD Vance, he wants the keys to the MAGA kingdom. And we learned real quick when Vivek hosted that Turning Point USA event and he was pelted with racism from MAGA because of the color of his skin and the fact that he's not a Christian. JD Vance even came out and said he wishes Usha would convert to Christianity because he knows that's going to be an issue with MAGA when he tries to take over. And when he looks at Erika Kirk, she is everything he needs in a second wife. And normally you'd think having a second wife would be a problem for real Christians. But since Donald Trump came around, no one apparently in MAGA cares how many wives you've had in the past.
Well, look, JD, you have tried to model yourself after Trump himself. And if there's anything we've learned from Trump, the best way to get yourself off the hook is to just do more of it. So, yeah, you're just going to have to explore the studio space. Yeah, just keep pushing around Mississippi with more hugs and embraces. Just keep it pushing. Like, and if you can get some after hours, some where they got that long distance lens or something like that, where they can get you with the hugs and embraces, yeah, that'd probably be the way to go. Huh? Way to go. Oh, well, you came to the right place. You know, city boys always know where the stroll is, so they'll get you right. Yeah, they'll get you right. Hey, but keep your distance. You don't be no return engagements, or you will nullify the entire thing. City boy, city boy. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I want to send a very special shout out to everybody who made our 600 subscriber members live celebration.
Everybody do the twist, okay? Got me out the streets, and then they came and found me to drag me back to the streets. And while they were there, he came out with twist again, like we did last summer, and then all the thugs was dancing. And the crime stopped.
I like those members' lives. It's like I can speak more freely. It's like being at the world's largest barbershop that never fixes my bald spot. Speaking of members, I want to give a shout out to Lee from both YouTube and Patreon, where you can join her at patreon.com/Reese Waters. She sent me this photo saying we took pics with our shirts. Mom never misses an episode of Reese. I always have to explain the Gen X millennial jokes. Thank God I didn't have to explain the Yin Yang twins. She didn't ask. Yeah, good luck with that. I still can't explain the Yin Yang twins to anybody. I can't explain the Yin Yang twins to myself, but I'm sure she thoroughly enjoyed the verses between No Limit and Cash Money, since she's newly up on the culture, and I can only hope to age like Birdman.
Trying to get some money and not be in the streets. And I met BG, I met Wayne, I met Juvie, I met Turk. Shout out to Turk, your little.
But thank you so much for the merch pick. You can submit one at admin@reesewaters.com, and we have some new merch that's available now, including the Who Raised Y'all gear, and now FAFO gear. I know we had to do FAFO gear. I had done too many FAFO videos. I got to the point where it was actually a legal requirement that I had to have FAFO t-shirts and mugs.
And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
So make sure you guys check that out at thepeoplesgetup.com. And you guys may have noticed it's now tied to my YouTube. So you'll be able to see it right there on my YouTube page.
It's been 84 years.
And last but not least, because I gave so much love to the Libras, and I am in fact on the cusp, I gotta give some love to my Scorpios as well. Where my Scorpios at? That's right, Picasso and Frank Ocean and Jimmy Kimmel. Welcome back. Matthew McConaughey. All right. I enjoy a good score. Is that Drake over there? That's Drake. Y'all calling him Lawbury now? Kris Jenner. That's Kris Jenner. I know that ain't who is that Diddy? That look like Diddy. Why he ain't got no shirt on? Drake, Kris Jenner, and Diddy? Nah, I can't do that. Nah, I'm gonna go with a week early. I'm full Libra. I can't even do that.